gorgeous geeks.
Hey, how are you doing, Christina?
I'm doing good. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on getting a second season.
Thank you. We're very, very happy about it.
So, do you know anything what's going to happen yet?
I wish I did. The writers are all locked away in a writer's room. So they're going so hardcore that Anna Fricke and Jeremy Carver cannot get away for the hour or two it would take to record like a commentary with us.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't know if you know, we're doing these episode commentaries, me and the cast, and we're trying to get as many people in on it as we can. And we got Kristen Hager and Sarah Allen and Mark Pellegrino, and we're trying to get our showrunners in on it, and they are just swamped. they just had they had twins recently, and they're writing the new scripts, and so they're going for it. But I have no doubt they're going to come up with some really, really cool stuff.
So I really enjoyed the finale. Were you glad that you were the one who got to take out Bishop?
Yeah, we were happy about that. I had only seen at this point, when we shot it, I'd only seen part of the first episode of The British. But we were aware of certain plot turns that they took. You know, when we were doing certain things, we would ask, oh, how did the British series deal with this? And I think ultimately, I can't speak for the British show, but for our show, I think ultimately people want to see me and Mark go toe-to-toe. I think that's what people want to see. And I also think that's what Aidan would be trying to do. I mean, I could think of 15 reasons to justify why he insists it must be him. And then really, kind of like a father to Josh and Sally, he really just wants to keep Josh as human as possible, to maintain as much innocence as he could with Josh.
So the Sci-Fi Channel has a lot of shows with a lot of longevity, like Stargate SG-1. So are you guys feeling good about the lifespan of being human right now?
Right now, we're very, very hopeful. And I should say that I get nervous whenever I'm on a show that could go for a few years, and I'm always very hesitant to sign up for stuff like that. For example, when you do a pilot, you know, you're looking at possible years of your life, or you're looking at, you know, if it doesn't get picked up, it may not, you know, it may just be a couple weeks. But with Being Human, that's something that I would be very happy to do for a few years. I'm really, really intrigued by the character that they've given me to play, and I think there's so many interesting things that he could be doing.
So what are you looking forward to next season? What are some things that you're hoping to happen for Aidan?
Oh, well, I mean, that's a really tough question. I mean, how is this guy going to? He's basically, everyone around him who isn't Josh and Sally is now basically dead. He's kind of entirely on his own at this point, and I would love to see. Who knows if it's going to happen? But I'd love to see us continue on with this with this metaphor for the vampire family being kind of like a low-rent mafia family. And it'd be nice to see Aidan kind of become the Michael Corleone of vampires, trying to keep his family separate from the horrible things that happen there. It'll be interesting to see how he navigates that. And of course, we've had some discussion of, you know, when Hegeman says she wants to meet you, we've had some discussion about who she will be, and I'm very excited about those prospects. But I think they would be very angry at me if I told you some of that stuff. So, we had to know exactly when we were shooting that, we had to know what we were talking about so that I would get the proper reaction and stuff like that. And so we had a discussion about some second season stuff, but it was, you know, again, it's shrouded in secrecy.
So were you skeptical at all about doing a show with the vampires and werewolves, since it's so in the now right now? So skeptical that I almost made the worst career move of my life, and I almost turned down the audition, which just would have been horribly tragic, because I've been lucky in that the things that I've turned down, I've seen them afterward, and I felt like it was the right call. This would have been painful. This would have been really painful to have not gone in an audition and then seen how good the show turned out. But that was essentially my reaction. It wasn't. I read like 3 or 4 pages of the script and then closed it and said, well,
and we need another vampire show. I don't really want to play a vampire. There's too many of them. And my friend Laura Terry, who just has uncanny knowledge of everything that's happening in the business, she got a hold of me and she said, are you thinking about turning down Being Human? I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about not going in. She's like, okay, that's a huge mistake. And did you read the script? I'm like, well, she's like, read the damn script. That's your job, you lazy bastard. And so I sat down and I read the script, and I felt really, really like an idiot. I felt like a real idiot because I loved the script, and then I read the second script, and I loved that. So, I was definitely. I mean, I haven't seen True Blood. I haven't seen the Twilight series, so I don't really know what's happening in the other vampire worlds. All I know is that there's a hell of a lot of us, but I think that Being Human may have something unique to say about it. I mean, I just loved the character, and I love the fact that I'm like, okay, well, so my job would be playing a man who's battling addiction. That's my job on the show. It isn't necessarily to be a hissing vampire with fangs. And by the way, it should be noted, I am a huge sci-fi guy and genre fan, and I love all things sci-fi and genre, with the provision that it be done well and that it actually be talking about something relevant. You know, Battlestar Galactica, for example, is really kind of the premier post 9/11 drama. Mm-hmm. You know, that show really, really handles those issues and does it in such a masterful way. And then, you know, every now and then you get to go and have a cool space battle. But that show absolutely deserves to have been made because of the really difficult subject matter it was tackling. You know, if you take the Star Wars series and the Clone Wars and all that stuff, they're handling some really, really interesting issues, and they're doing it, you know, through the guise of sci-fi. In our case, you know, we're saying, oh, you know, it's addiction. No, it's not. Don't worry. It's just a vampire thing. But then you can end up going a lot further in the storytelling and get stuff underneath the censors, you know, and in terms of their awareness, and tell some really hard-hitting stories. So that's what I enjoy about it. That's what I love about it.
I really do think it is different from all the vampire stories, because obviously vampires are addicted to blood, but Being Human really treats it as like a drug addiction. So I would definitely say it's different.
Yeah, I love the fact that in our show, it's just the most terrible thing in the world to be a vampire. It's really not. It's not very glamorous. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even Bishop, the head of the vampire family, has to dress like a dork and walk around and pretend like he's, you know, and he sort of runs this little front company, this funeral home, and does all these little mafia operations, and he's miserable. And me and Mark Pellegrino talked a lot about how Bishop thought he would be a lot further along in his life now at 500 years old, you know, and that there's a lot of dissatisfaction there and a lot of suffering, and Aidan is just not having a good time, and of course Aidan is just messing up left and right to make matters worse.
I really enjoyed you in season 8 of Smallville. What was it like working on that show?
Everyone was really, really nice. If you're a fan of that show, I can tell you that the people that you are fans of are extremely nice people. They're funny, and it was cool. It was interesting to come in and be kind of the new kid. So I kept trying to remind the writers that we had to feel like Davis Bloom was not part of this, you know, meteor freak phenomenon, that he didn't understand any of these things, and yet he was one of the biggest examples of strangeness on the show. But he, you know, when he shows up, he's not quite aware of that. So it was interesting to be the new kid and try to bring in a slightly new perspective to the show. It was a good time.
Davis was pretty much a man battling with becoming a monster, and Aidan is he's this monster trying to be more human. Did you channel any of that, Davis, into Aidan at all?
Aidan has a much better sense of humor than Davis. I don't think Davis had time to have a sense of humor about these things. Aidan, at least has moments where he can crack a smile or make a joke. It's interesting that they are kind of similar to each other. The Davis thing, I would
I would liken that more to some sort of rage thing, almost more like Josh's werewolf thing than what Aidan's dealing with. Because Aidan, no matter what version of Aidan we see, he's always himself. He always knows what he's doing. It's just that at different times he has different ideas of what the right thing to do is. You know, I mean, like for example, Sam Huntington asked me actually a month ago. He's like, so when he asked me during one of the commentaries when we were doing it, and he goes, you know, when you turn and your eyes go black and the fangs come out, you kind of lose yourself, kind of like the werewolf thing, how Josh kind of goes away and the werewolf shows up. And I'm like, no, that's not how it is at all. And in fact, Aidan is still absolutely there. You know, the question being, are you any less yourself when you're overcome by, say, sexual desire for someone? No, you're still there. It's just that you have urges and feelings that aren't necessarily always in the driver's seat. So so the Aidan and Davis thing is kind of different, like in that way. Davis was a guy who, if you were to break it down into a metaphor, I think had major rage and anger issues and control issues.
So, what are your plans before going back and shooting season 2 of Being Human?
How do you mean? Like just like hanging out, sucking to my cheeks, and like wearing leather jackets? Like what? Do you mean like work-wise or just just?
Work-wise or just hanging out. I don't know. You tell me.
I would like. Okay. I want to get sleep. That's definitely a plan of mine. I mean, this season was just ridiculous in terms of how exhausting it was. I mean, when I think about going back for a second season, I actually get tired. Just thinking about it. It was really hardcore. It was a sprint for 5.5 months, and we were, you know, where 15-hour days were the norm, and you know, sometimes it went up into 19-hour days, and it was just really, really difficult. But in terms of work stuff, in fact, I'm actually driving right now to go do some more Clone Wars, so that'll be fun. You'll be hearing me a lot. Are you a fan of that show? Do you have people watch it?
Mm-hmm. We actually just got your video game the other day.
Nice, cool. Yeah, I'm doing I'm doing the Clone Wars, and this is a different character than the one that I just did for them. I did 3 episodes just recently for them that aired, in which I played the dark side of the Force. Essentially, they all go to a planet where it's kind of like the Vision Cave that Yoda sends Luke into, except it's an entire planet like that. So everything is all metaphor and everything is all non-literal. And this guy shows up, and he's basically the dark side of the Force, as Dave Filoni explained it to me. And so that was really fun. And now I'm playing another character, somewhat related. And they said that I have to be really cagey about what I'm doing. In fact, if I told you, you'd think it was really cool. You would know right away what I was talking about. So I get to. They handed me the keys to something really, really awesome, and I'll be around for a lot of episodes.
Okay, I was on Twitter the other day, and I saw you had some imposters. Do you actually have a Twitter account?
I do not have a Twitter account. You know what it is? I'll tell you something. Okay, so I think I take it as a great compliment that anyone wants to pretend to be me. That's cool. What's not cool is some of the stuff that these people say, like, "Oh my God, I'm doing so great. I'm being human, yo." You know, I'm just like, "Oh God, dude, don't believe that's who I am." Or you know, "Oh, you know, I'm an actor. I'm a lover. I'm a this. I'm a that." It's like, dude, please, is that no? Is that really what you think it's like to be me? Dude? I'm just some guy who drives a beater, you know, and hangs out with his friends, and you know, that's what's irritating to me. It's some of the stuff that happens. "Oh, I got so drunk last night. You know, I'm gonna hit it with Rebecca now." You know, dude, relax. You know. So I actually, if you're saying stupid shit like that, just stop. You know, please. Like, you know, I don't really appreciate that. You know, it's like, because there's some people who actually think that is me and are getting kind of the wrong impression.
Well, they're trying to convince him. Like he said, "I am Sam. I am the real Sam."
Yeah, he's the one you're talking about. What is his name on Twitter? Is it Samuel Witwer or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very insistent that he's me. Even when I put out a picture saying, "Hey, I'm not on Twitter," he's like, "Yeah, but then I got on it after after that picture, I got on it. It's like, oh, God, stop, man, come on. Yeah, it's he's quite insistent. I don't really understand what the motivation is there, but you know, again, it's flattering, it's cool. Just don't make me sound like an idiot, please. You know?
I totally understand.
Yeah.
Hey, but at least someone wants to be you, I guess.
Well, no, I mean, that again, that's really cool. That's really awesome. I think if he knew what it was really like, he'd be less intrigued. I play video games just like everyone else, and I hang out with friends, and I just basically keep to myself. There was, you know, I got this other, I got this email. I guess it was a drunk written email by a niece of one of my friends, in which her aunt, whoever the hell this is, was like, are you? She wrote something. I got an email like out of the blue from someone that again I've actually communicated with, which is like, hey, are you as dickish and cocky as my aunt said you were, because she's been hanging out with you at a bunch of parties? And I'm just like, I don't go to any parties, and fuck you, and back off. And you know, there's this. I don't know what it is that makes people want to target people at random like that. You know, I'm honestly just a fucking geek who hangs out at my home. That's what I do. You know, and you know, occasionally see my friends. That's what I want to be doing with my time. So, you know, it's yeah. I don't know what it all means. But again, it's I've got the best job in the world, so I've got nothing to complain about.
So I've got to ask, because I'm a big geek myself, who's your favorite superhero?
I'm gonna have to go with Batman. I like that he's a guy. I like the whole scarred psyche thing, and I like how many different versions you could find of this guy. How many different pieces? You know, like every author has kind of a take on him, and I really enjoy that. I favor the ones that kind of brush a lot of the more fantastical elements under the rug. Not that I mind when Superman shows up or Wonder Woman. That can actually be really fun. Or Robin or any of those guys. I really kind of like it when he's on his own. You know, when he's doing his thing and he's kind of crazy. I mean, for example, Batman Arkham Asylum. I know that's a little ways back. That was many years ago, but like, I love the fact that you never got a good look at the guy. He was just this terrifying dark shape, and you never ever actually get a good look at him. And I love that. You know, he should be frightening.
I keep trying to convince my dad that he's emo, but he just doesn't believe me.
Yeah, he's total goth. Absolutely.
So, lastly, is there anything you want to say to like all of your fans out there that have supported you, or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Because without those fans, I wouldn't be getting the kind of traction that I've been getting. The wonderful thing about sci-fi fans or genre fans is that they're about 15 times more loyal than your normal fan, and I feel like I completely understand that, because I'm one of them. If you saw my apartment, you saw some of the stuff I have hanging on my walls. You get it, you know. I mean, I have like a Darth Vader replica helmet above my computer, you know, looming down at me, sort of a Force Unleashed thing, right? And I just love the enthusiasm. It's one of the reasons why I like going to conventions. I love seeing everyone be so enthusiastic about these things that we're all in love with. And yeah, if it weren't for them turning out in numbers when things like Being Human came up, I would have a significantly less chance of getting these roles that I want to be involved in. You know, people pay attention to who people are talking about. It's just kind of how the industry works, and so having support is actually it actually makes a difference when it comes to getting any various, you know, any role anywhere. So the way I look at it is they're the customer, and I just hope they I hope that I am serving the customer well.
I know I said that was the last one, but since you mentioned, what kind of memorabilia do you have?
Oh, God. Okay. I'm not going to tell you all of it because that's just, no, I'm not going to do that. But what I will tell you is I recently just put up this stunning print that Darabont gave me of Drew Struzan's Walking Dead. And the one sheet he made for Comic-Con, which is unbelievably beautiful. And Drew signed it and Frank signed it. It's gorgeous and it's framed and it's on my wall. I also have, I've got a Stormtrooper helmet. I got a Vader helmet. I might have a couple lightsaber prop replicas. I mean, I'm hardcore into this stuff. And Lucasfilm gave me some of this stuff, but then I bought the other, the rest of it. I mean, basically, you know what it is I was a huge Star Wars fan before I worked on Force Unleashed. But once you work on it, I didn't think I could become any bigger of a fan than I am, but I did. I just kind of lost my mind even more so for the whole Star Wars thing. So, yeah, I've got a pretty impressive, like, I live with my girlfriend, and she actually doesn't mind what I put anywhere. If I have anything anywhere, she's just totally cool with it. But I'm like, it's not a bad idea to have a place look like a normal place where people live. And I'll just, like, in my office, stack up all my stuff. So my office is this glorious geek cave, right, where there's interesting things to look at everywhere and interesting art prints that people have given me and all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, I had to ask because we have Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, Batman statues, Aquaman. We got it all.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm doing well. I'm being competitive. Let me tell you, I've got some good stuff. In fact, I think I have the Master Replicas Enterprise should be arriving within the next week. The big ass replica of the ship.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the '60s version. So I'm going for it. You should see Frank Darabont's collection though. It's hilarious because when I first went over, sometime after we shot The Mist, I went over to his office, and like I then finally I realized, I'm like, oh, this guy's just me a few years down the road. He had on his desk, he has like a 3-foot tall Terminator statue, right?
Uh-huh.
And over the stairwell up to his office, he has the Discovery. It had to be at least 8 feet long. The Discovery from 2001. And all kinds of stuff. He has little statues of the Goon. He's got various, what are some of the things? He has all kinds of little Twilight Zone statues, which, various characters from those episodes. One of the, like, for example, don't quote me, but I think he's got the Canamid, the guy from To Serve Man. You are hearing my thought transmissions, but like you look at the look on the guy's face, and he's like, but he's got this really articulate voice that comes from his brain.
I wasn't aware that they made those, and we watch the marathon every time it comes on.
Oh, dude, so I bought the Twilight Zone for the cast of Being Human, and like I'd shoot a scene with Pellegrino, and I would be well into another scene. It's hours later, and I had to go into someone's trailer to get something. I think I went into like Sandy's trailer. And Mark Pellegrino was like wrapped in a blanket on the floor watching Twilight Zone hours after he was dismissed, right? So we were kind of hardcore like that. All of us had our geek interests.
So you're all just a bunch of nerds, huh?
Totally. I mean, that's the thing. It's some of the most influential people in Hollywood and therefore the world are huge geeks, Darabont, Spielberg, Lucas. These are all people who have a passion for pop culture, film history, and all that stuff.
Well, I know the fans really appreciate it when the actors are really into this stuff and they're not just saying it because they get a role. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when you're really a geek, we love it.
You and I have seen, the worst thing is when you see an actor who you can tell is collecting a paycheck. You know what I mean? Like, we've all seen that. You're waiting for a movie or a TV show that you're really excited about, and you see one actor who, like, not only doesn't get it, but probably doesn't
doesn't care half as much as they should. You know, when millions of other people would die to be where they're at, and they're not delivering the goods. You know, so for me, whenever I get one of these roles, be it if it's being human or the Clone Wars or whatever, I stress out because I don't want to let down people like me. I don't want to let down people who are enthusiastic about this. And in fact, what I'm doing for the Clone Wars right now is it's kind of high pressure. It has to go right, or people are going to be severely disappointed because it's way too important of a character. So.
Well, it was nice talking to you.
Great talking to you.
Hopefully we'll get to meet you in person one day.
Absolutely. Do you show up at any of the conventions or Comic-Con or something?
Yeah, we're planning our schedules right now for what we're going to go to the rest of the year. I know you went to the Superman celebration in Metropolis last year. You're not going this year.
Yeah.
I know Sam Huntington is going to be there.
Yeah, that's right. He totally is. He asked me about that. I'm like, yeah, you should go. It'll be fun.
I'm trying to get my sister to tell me she had a big crush on him, but I don't know if she's going to do it.
That's awesome.
Because she saw Jungle of Jungle.
That guy is awesome, and I shudder to think what the show would be like if we hadn't cast him.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious, and his mannerisms and everything.
Yeah, he is. He's a real sweetheart. He's a really nice guy. In fact, the entire cast, everyone, me and Megan, Sammy, Sarah, Mark, we all really, really got along, and in fact, we all went on vacation together afterward. So
what's the next con you're going to?
I'm going to one in Pittsburgh tonight, this weekend.
Well, I guess next time.
Absolutely.
All right, well, it's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
All right, bye.